Thank you all for coming today. In this session, we are going to do a complete review of the eBay inventory tool training review, as well as, if there's time at the end, some of the landscape of eBay and some best practices. Understanding all of the elements of the inventory tool is very important. From experience, that the more you know about the inventory tool, the more valuable you can be. And what I want to do with this material today is provide you with a renewed confidence of all the feature functions within the tool and the landscape of it, and then with that provide you a new perspective on seeing your inventory in different ways, controlling your inventory in different ways, controlling the shipping and handling economics in different ways, all to your advantage, all to play to your success and the way you play your inventory up on eBay. So I think it's helpful also give you a little bit of an agenda. For those of you that are live on eBay selling your merchandise, using the tool to auto-generate listings, take a look at the quality of the listings that are out there. A lot of people just simply generate their live listings and let the system work. They never take the time to physically look at all of the key components of the listing, the title, the subtitle, the pictures, all the shipping parameters that you have set up. And then if you scroll down, you see the fitment table, the part specifications, all of the additional details that we put in terms of additional part summaries, supersession information, other part specs that are super important to the consumer, to the buyer. Give the buyer the confidence they need. Give them the information and the material they need to make a smart decision. Plus, when you compare those listings that you're generating to other listings that are on eBay, they are far, far superior. So I want you to poke around on eBay, take a quick look at your listings, because you really will notice the quality of the listings that you're generating through the program inventory tool. The things I really want to cover today are the performance dashboard within the inventory tool. It's probably the #1 tool that you can use as a barometer for what's happening around your inventory. The eBay global rules. There's the inventory tool global rules that are set up preferences and defaults. Parts controls, #1 thing you can do is activate your parts. I want to talk about activation and really affecting your product correctly. Deactivation, obviously you might have things on eBay that you don't want there, so you need to deactivate them and turn them off. And then the importance of putting items into the hidden status. There are things that you have in your collection of inventory you never want to put on eBay. So if you can get them off the table, get them out of the way into a dark place that you never look at them, it makes ongoing housekeeping so much easier. The global shipping program, it's a no-brainer. eBay created this global shipping program several years ago to help sellers who just really were not participating on the international scale, and they make it easy by having you sell your product as if you're selling it to a domestic customer, and they provide you with the international freight forwarding facility in Erlanger, Kentucky. You ship, you're done, and you really should be looking at it. You really should be participating in it. There are some things that you can do to elevate your product, differentiate your listings from other people's, where you need to maintain your price, differentiate your listings from others through customization, like adding pictures, altering your titles, doing other things with your listings. You can really take advantage of the controls in the inventory tool and go to the next level. Again, at the end, we're going to give you some details about eBay and some of the important things that are good to take advantage of, and then some other best practices, and those best practices help you get more sales organically. If you know how to play the system, you'll organically get more sales. It's super important that you understand, as program sellers on eBay, you have assets available to you and also a large bucket of benefits. Remember, you have a huge seller limit. It's a numbers game. The more you put on eBay, the more you will sell. There are no insertion fees. You are not paying an insertion fee for these items being posted on the seller ID that's in the program. You don't pay anything to be on eBay. All you pay is that final value fee for successful transactions. Remember, you get an eBay Basic Store and eBay Selling Manager Pro. I want to help people remember that you have assets at eBay, 2 teams of people that are dedicated to your business, to your operation, to our program. The first is the eBay Motors Programs group, handful of people, very knowledgeable in subject matter expertise for everything eBay. And then you have access to eBay's Merchant Support Organization. We're going to talk about ongoing management and housekeeping and trying to make that easy as you continue to use the tool. So now into the material here. What's the point of doing trainings like this? And the average seller in the program only has 30% of their available inventory activated on the site. Also, eBay has the potential to be one of your biggest consumers of auto parts through your operation. Think about the turnover you can get from eBay. #1, it's instant payment, so there's no longer extending terms. The other thing is that there's 166 million very active buyers on eBay. 3 parts are selling every second on eBay. Parts and accessories within the eBay verticals is the fastest growing and most successful vertical marketplace on eBay today. You need to activate your worthy eBay items, those things that you know are worthy of availability on eBay. So the goal is to really move the average from 30% closer to 60 to 70% activated into the eBay marketplace. Okay, there is an ability to hide unworthy items, and I want to show you how to do that within the tool. Right, you can take stuff that's unworthy for eBay and hide it so that it's not available in the tool, it's not available to get to eBay, and it clears the air. It removes any fog and gives you laser focus to the merchandise you do want to list, and then subsequently any new stuff that comes in. Well, it's not fogged by all the stuff that's in the way. It's the new stuff that comes in is clean and clear. It's all by itself, and it can be looked at, manipulated, and dealt with very quickly and very efficiently because there's nothing in the way. You don't have to filter and sort out the bad stuff again to get to the good stuff you do want to list. So very important to think about that. Ongoing housekeeping will be made much easier through learning more today, but also being able to manipulate the inventory in segments. Okay. The other thing that's super important that dovetails into the eBay best practices is really focusing on customer service and your seller reputation on eBay. The most important thing you can do besides activating your parts is maintain as high a standard in customer service as you can, because it matters and it's measured, and eBay rewards you for those high marks and consistent high marks from. Plus, when you're a top-rated seller status, you get natural, organic, elevated lift in search results. You're going to get you're going to see a huge uptick in transactions if you become a top-rated seller. Reminder, transaction defects come from either not uploading or being late uploading your tracking information, okay? And that's done, by your barometer. You set the clock and you have to upload within that setting. Seller-initiated cancellations. If you have a stock out and you go in and cancel that transaction without any communication, without any dialogue between you and the buyer, that's a defect and that's a problem. And then buyer disputes. If a buyer reaches out to you to deal with a return and wants to get instruction and they don't hear from you, well, typically they're going to escalate it to eBay right away. And that is also a defect that you can mitigate and control just by simply responding and communicating. I want to highlight this Excel sheet so you know how to use it, and you might be able to play this to your advantage. The thing I really like to teach people how to do is to keep track of their parts activations if they're going to be breaking it down by weight and dimension. We're going to do some searches, right? So if you look at this search panel, search number 1, give me inactive items, inactive status, in the weight range of 1 to 3 pounds, under 30 inches in parameter. I'm going to assign it as a free shipping style listing, and I'm going to make it a $7, add-on for shipping. I can jot down the number of items that I found, the number of items that I activated, and then if there were any items in that collection that I ended up tucking away and I hid them away, I don't want to have them on eBay, well then I can jot that down too and try to track that. If you keep a soft copy of this and can refer to it in the future, well, it's a way to remember what you did. So if you ever need to make changes to items in a particular search criteria, well, it's that much easier. So you can really work things consistently, and you can have some consistency to what you're doing within your inventory. Going forward, well, it can get messy, and this is a nice way to control things in a tight package and then have reference material you can come back to. So let's get on with the training. So the first thing I want to show you is the seller dashboard, and I believe I put up a screenshot. If I just go back to the material here, the first thing I wanted to show you, I did a screenshot here because the demo version of the dashboard doesn't have any information in it, okay? And I'll show you what I mean by that. If I flip back here and I open this panel, every time you log into the eBay tool, this dashboard is going to pop up. And this is one of the most important things I want to share with you today so you understand how it works and how you can use it, as the information that's in it, to your advantage. Now, if you look, this is an actual screenshot from an existing program seller's inventory dashboard from the tool, okay? His live listing count on eBay today is 14,018. The in-stock items not listed, this number right here, the in-stock items not listed is 17,000. Right? So he's got 17,000 items languishing in the tool that he could list on eBay. So if he moved 50% of that over into the marketplace, I mean, there's probably some product in here that he just never wants to list, like batteries and sheet metal and glass and bumper covers and hoods and panels, right? Probably never want to list that, but I guarantee there's probably 40 to 50% of this merchandise that he could put on eBay. Now, what's the end game? The end game is to take this number, okay? The objective of the game here, guys, is to get this number all the way down to zero. And how do you do that? Well, you activate the good stuff and you hide the unworthy items, the things you don't want to put on eBay. That will drive this number down to zero. And why? If you look here, weekly lost sales, okay? This is the revenue he's foregoing, okay? He could boost his revenue on average by $19,000 per month. And this is numbers based on his volume, his conversion ratio, his average price, and the momentum of transactions he's getting on a daily and weekly basis. Okay, so this is his numbers. If you also look, this board shows you how much product you are or are not participating in the global shipping program. Now, this particular seller, I haven't consulted with. He may have a reason why he's not participating in the international. He may have some policy restrictions. He may have some contractual obligations that don't allow him to do international. But again, another $2,000 worth of weekly revenues that he's not gaining by not participating in that program. So the top portion of this sheet is designed to give you a control and feedback on the management of your inventory. Where is it? What's it doing? Is it working for me? The game here, guys, is if you get this number down to zero, the rest of these will drop down to zero as well. And that's what you want. You want all of these numbers down to zero. Okay, obviously maximizing the number of live listings along the way. Now, once you have, you now begin to look at this lower portion in terms of sales, transactions, and sales revenues. Now, the lower portion of this, guys, revolves around the last full week, the week behind us. The weeks begin on Sunday and they end on Saturday. So this snapshot right here is showing this particular seller what they did for the full week, last week behind us. Okay, the lower portion will not update every day. It updates only once a week, but it's designed to show you kind of a benchmark of what's happening on a weekly basis, the cheddar you're generating, as well as the number of transactions. And then it's going to compare that to a week, 4 weeks ago, and the percent up or down in terms of change, okay? And then obviously once you cross your anniversary mark, it will give you a year-over-year perspective to show you how you're doing, compared to the same week 12 months ago. So again, this is a barometer. The piece that you're seeing here is an instrument to show you the things that you're doing with your inventory. Are you activating more stuff? Are you changing pricing? Are you altering your shipping rules and logic? Did you become a top-rated seller? The levers that you pull, the changes that you make, they will be reflected here in the tool. So it's a fantastic way to look at what's happening week over week. You want to look at it kind of once a week, once every other week, to kind of see where things are going. Because if you do a lot of work this week, you're not going to see a whole lot of movement until probably the beginning of the week after. So if you're looking for reporting, if you're looking for information to provide to other people, take this report, take a screenshot, take the numbers off of it, and push it forward. But again, the one takeaway from this sheet, guys, is to get this number down to zero. And how do you do that? Activate or you hide. Now, the second piece I want to take you into is the preferences table. And the preferences is where a lot of information is being pulled from. These are settings that have been installed onto your inventory tool setting here, your inventory tool, and then it's being applied to the inventory items listings within the tool. And then obviously if you don't make changes, they simply go on up to eBay. So my point is to show you that there's, you're flying right now with actual quantity available. What you have, the way you guys operate, what you have available is live listed on eBay. If it depletes, pull it, momentarily push it away. If it replenishes, put it back up again, okay? The other thing you begin to see if you scroll down here is the automated rules for new inventory, okay? One of the things you want to do is leave this global rule as inactive. What that does is it allows you to control the merchandise and effectively put proper shipping rates and logic on things before they go live to eBay. You could, if you wanted to, switch this to an active status. And if you did, well, you would allow everything new that comes into the inventory, any new lines you pick up, any new products from existing brands or lines, right? You can allow that stuff to just pick up these rules and go straight on up to eBay. And sometimes that's not a good idea. If you have large, bigger, bulkier things, maybe you add, a whole bunch of new parts, and in that is batteries or bumper covers. And so obviously those are things you don't want to have on eBay, or you should have some level of control before they do. The other thing you have here is your default handling time, your shipping type. For those that don't know too much about shipping type, I'll explain that to you. The other important thing is you can do a price adjustment, markup or markdown. So if you have your listings, all of your part information coming in at your cost or at MSRP, you might want to come up or you might want to go down. So you have control, and you can set a global adjustment here, and then obviously when you're inside the tool, you can do different pricing, different adjustments at the part level. So you've got ability to do controls here for everything, or subjectively by parts within the tool as you search for inventory. You'll also see here that you have the ability to do free, fixed, or calculated shipping. Now, I recommend within the default setting here, you leave this as free or fixed, okay? If you do calculated here, it basically gives everything in the inventory tool the same weight and dimension. And you don't really want to do everything calculated. You really want to do as much as you can in the free buy it now, and then maybe take the larger, bigger, bulkier things that you want to be more risk averse in terms of shipping cost under calculated. And we'll talk about that once I get deeper into the tool. You also have all brand of all carrier method, all carriers and all methods for shipping. So you can set a default here. And what you've got here, as you can see, we've set it up to just be a very generic standard shipping, and it lets you, the shipper, decide what sort of label you're going to put on the box or package before it goes out. For shipping and handling, you might just install a fixed, flat, basic amount, like your minimum amount that you would charge for shipping, and just let that apply. And then again, you can change the shipping rates for product subjectively once you do inventory searches or category searches on the tool. And then obviously global shipping program, you can do an all in or all out here at the global default level. Okay, and if you just go all in, you're done. You never have to touch anything else. If you're out and then you want to subjectively activate in, well, you can do that too. So you've got controls at each level. Next thing I'm jumping into here is the search panel. Okay, now your inventory file is coming in here. The reason this has so many feature functions to it is because we want to give you complete control of your inventory, and you can't have complete control if you don't have total visibility or total control over it. So we give you the ability to search by your title, okay, item numbers, right? If you want to look up all your bumper covers and put them in the hidden status, right, you might just say title, bumper cover. Part numbers, status is key, because you need to see what's inactive, what's active. You need to see what's been hidden, right? If you're doing my items, you need to see, hey, what's missing images, what's missing category, or what has both missing, okay? So status is a fantastic drop down to look at. Brand and line code are filters, right? There's nothing better than being able to search for quantity on hand, quantity not on hand, so you can decide, hey, do I want to activate these things, because they're available, whatever. So that's why that's there. Weight range. You got to remember, guys, weight and dimension are critical for shipping economics and helping you create the best price on eBay, right? Because if you're undercharging for shipping, well, that's just going to chew up your profits all day long. If you're overcharging, people won't touch you. So you want to basically use these filters to control what you're doing and control the economics that you're putting on your listings so that you can be competitive. Separate your part price from your shipping and try to create the best price possible that you feel is fair for you, and then secondarily is fair in the market, fair and competitive in the marketplace, because you have to maintain profit. You have to maintain your margin to be profitable. We're going to do what we can to create the most powerful listing possible for you on eBay, okay, that comes up in search, that's valuable and creates buyer confidence. You create pricing, you create seller status, and it's a powerful recipe for visibility and for success on eBay. Dimension is also an item you can filter for. If you don't want to sell, things of large shape or size, you can filter them and decide to activate them with proper shipping or hide them so that they're gone. They're not part of this mix. Condition is basically, new or remanufactured product. Images are a way to filter. If you're adding your own images and you want to find those things that still don't have images or logos or whatever, filter. Pricing. I've got guys that have a lot of merchandise on eBay, but they really don't want to chase nickels all day. So they don't list things under $5. So they've taken all the 0 to $4.99 and taken them off the radar, put them in the bucket. They want to search for those high value things and make sure that they are live listed on eBay. All those things that are in the wheelhouse that are from the, if the average sale price for you is say $70, well, you want to make sure that everything from 0 to maybe $250 is dealt with and very accurate and programmed to be working hard for you and visible for you on eBay. So price is a fantastic filter to really know what you're doing with your merchandise. Does it have a core charge is another filter. Once you start applying shipping and handling, you can search for what you're charging for shipping and handling to make adjustments or fine-tune things. You can actually pull up things based on what carrier and method you've assigned. What shipping type? Do I want to move from free shipping to calculated? Do I want to move from calculated back to free? So you can actually use all these filters to your control, and then you might say, look, I need to know what I have opted into the global shipping program. So all of these little ancillary granular components are there for you to take advantage of, and they're not things you have to do all the time. You don't have to come in and reset everything and do it all every month. The rules you set here, the activations that you do, the groups that you put things into, they're fixed and they're done, and you don't have to come back. You don't have to keep doing it. And so what I'm going to do here, guys, for example, to bring up a search result, quick search for inactive stuff, okay, in the weight range of 0 to 3 pounds in all categories. I've just highlighted these collections of books here. Now, while I'm in here, I should mention that mechanical parts, my items, the OE accessories, and the collision are the 4 primary books that we break things down into. Mechanical parts is obviously the stuff that's under the hood, under the car, and then the collision is, everything in the collision categories. So I'm doing a search here. Now I have my search result, okay, and I'm showing a screenshot of it's a screen view of 250 of the first it's the first 250 of 5,735 items. Okay, so it's important to see that you're beginning to get traction here in what you're searching for. And again, for those of you that are relatively new, obviously the search panel can be pulled open again, and I can show what I've done, right? Remind me what did I search for? Inactive stuff, 0 to 3 pounds. Oh yeah. So now what I can do is further whittle down. Maybe this is too many. Maybe I should whittle it down. Give me things that are super small, lightweight things. Longest dimension under 12 inches, right? Less than or equal to 12 inches. So it's going to look at the largest dimension and now redefine my search. So 5,700 is a great number, but maybe I want to whittle down now and be really economically sensitive to product based on weight and dimension. So now I'm down to 2,300. So you can see here, guys, that I've got 2,300. Okay, and again, this is where that part activation grid that I've got attached to the sheet plays into effect. So now I can say, all right, I want to activate these products. I can do a check all. And let's say, for example, here, I want to bulk activate and bulk control this entire group of 2385. I check all. I could expand my page view if I want to, but I don't really have to because I'm going to show you a little trick here that some of you may or may not know about. The define item rules is where the rubber meets the road. This is how I trigger and control the product that I want to have on eBay or hidden away. So if I click on this status, those of you that don't know too much about the hidden, okay, here is how you put your product onto the hidden status. And I kind of call it like a dark drawer, a hidden file. Like put the stuff away so that it gets out of the mix, off the radar, and away from your view. And so it doesn't fog your view on going forward, but it also pushes stuff out of the way so that it can't get on eBay from the very beginning. So that's how you move things to hidden in this process of working your inventory. All right, so for this example, let's say I want to activate these products. I'm going to activate. I'm going to keep it as a 1-day handling time. And then I'm going to scroll down here. I'm going to leapfrog over the title, subtitle, and description, also price adjust. But if you wanted to do price adjust, you can just open it up. And you can see here you've got the ability to do markdown, markup, and you can override and specify a particular price. So if you were saying, look, this is a particular part or a group of parts, I'm going to blow them out. I'm going to knock them down a bit. Or, hey, I need to lift these up because they're seasonal. I seem to be the only one selling them. Let's mark them up a margin. And you may say, you know what, these are on super blowout. I'm going to drop them down to $5, whatever. You can control your price, by be specific here in the tool and override the inventory price that you've got from your file. Again, here's your opportunity to change your shipping type, right? And I like to call it your listing style. Okay, free style listing, free shipping style, fixed price style, and calculated. Now, the only difference between fixed and free, guys, is where you are taking your total pricing and you're just separating the part price from the shipping price. So when you do fixed, people can see the part price, they can see the separate shipping price, and then they're combined at checkout. When you do free shipping, it's all bundled together. They cannot see what you're charging for shipping, and it's all one price all the way through the process. Super logical. Okay, so that's the difference. Calculated is where you are saying, look, Mr. Customer, I have no idea where you are. I'm not going to take a risk. I'm going to set this thing up so that eBay can calculate in real time for you what your actual charge is going to be for shipping. So if someone's real close by, well, you might be a very competitive total price. If someone's super far away, well, you may not be so competitive, but if you sell that product, well, you're not going to get beat up on the shipping price. So those are the styles for you. You also can control your shipping type. If you are going to be doing calculated shipping, you have to specify package type. You have to specify carrier method. That's the ingredients in the mathematical equation that's put together once the listing is on eBay and the consumer sees it. So you have to put carrier method, weight and dimension, and then package type so that it can be calculated appropriately. Then the buyer contributes the ship to address, right? And distance. The distance is provided between your two addresses and all the ingredients that you put in the middle. It provides them a real-time number and hopefully makes you look competitive or protects you and takes the guesswork away from any sort of loss in that process. Okay, so again, you have those concessions there to deal with. And then obviously for shipping, we can now select whatever method we want. And if you scroll down here, I want to show you guys just to make sure everybody knows this stuff. If you pull this menu down, you see where we have expedited, standard, economic types of stuff, economy shipping, and then we also have local pickup. Guys, I don't recommend anybody do local pickup. Down below here is also the global shipping program that you can throw down product into the global shipping program. And now, if I want to activate just a small group of parts, I would simply click on Update Selected, and it would give me the 250. Okay, but in this case, for this example, I want to activate everybody. So I can use this little box right here at the bottom. It said, check this box to override all parts in the search result, right? With one extra click of a mouse, I am now controlling all the products. So 2,385 product, bang, can all go into an active status and be triggered to eBay with my next inventory, file push, into the system and on up to eBay. That's how simple. That's how easy it is to control and activate. And I just want to help you guys see that, again, with the search panel, you can look for product of similar weight and size, pool them together, put them on eBay with what you feel is the appropriate economics, and go for it. Let them sell, and then measure the results. Okay, so there's a couple things here I want to point out that are really important for administration of your inventory. If you notice, as I was poking around here in the search result define item rules box, you notice that some of these boxes lit up with a green highlight. You notice how when I poked around here, you saw these green highlights light up. They all lit up. What does that mean? What are they doing? Now, the important thing to remember here, guys, in full training and giving you guys a full perspective, is that it's an indicator, it's an icon, it's a reminder that you have affected this segment of the part type rules dialog so that you know what's going to be applied. The key thing to remember here, guys, is if you don't want them applied, you can simply deselect them, right? So if you've done some things but you're like, wait, I don't want that, I'd rather just do the activation status, I'm going to leave everything else alone, I shouldn't have messed with it. Well, if you deselect the check mark, it will take it off. The important thing to understand, I talked about earlier, is differentiating your listings, okay? Making them unique to you and making them unique to stand out in the crowd. Remember, guys, there is an absolute ocean of auto parts on eBay today. Now, what can I do to customize my listing to stand out in the crowd? Two things you can do. You can alter your titles, okay? You can make them unique. You can add specific information. Maybe you can put some clarity to an item. That you have 80 characters for your title, so you can take control. You have 55 characters for your subtitle, and you have 3,000 characters additional that you can put into this about the part description area. And this about the part description area is separate and unique from all the other catalog elements that we're putting on the listings. So it's additional information that you as the seller would like to put on your listings for, you know, proper identification or information you want to share with the consumer. But the key thing to remember here, guys, let's say I want to change this, you know, to I want to put in the word, you know, solid gold, or you know, made in the USA, whatever. You know, here that I'm adding information into the title, and you'll notice also that this highlight lit up. Okay, so that's important to understand that this is an adjustment that you have made in this listing. You'll also see over here, as I started typing, this restore default icon popped up, and if I cursor over it, the original title pops up. If I click it, right, if I click this restore default, it'll take it back, right? It'll restore the original generated title back to the box. Okay, the thing that's super important to understand, guys, there's one piece about this particular training, this area of training that you really have to comprehend, is that you want to be careful. Okay, if you make an adjustment to an individual item, you want to make sure that it applies only to that individual item. Okay, remember, if I check this box here, okay, and I've got all these other parts highlighted over here, if I click on update selected, guess what? Guess what? All those items, at least the first 250, are going to get this Ford part number and title. Okay, bad news, that's going to make 250 or 249 other, you know, mislabeled items. So you want to be very careful. If you're going to do edits, you do it, you know, purposefully or subjectively based on particular individual items or groups of items that you want the same information on. The one thing I didn't go into detail yet is the search result page. The one thing you may have noticed as you've been doing your own parts activations and your own poking around here in the tool is that there's certain information available to you, right? Date, if you look at all these headings, it's very simplistic, right? The date they came into the system, the date they went active on eBay, brand and line code, part number, subtitle, weight and dimensional information, condition, quantity, pricing, all the everything's available to you. But you may not have noticed that you can resort and refilter this page. Now you've seen sort of the search parameter here in the search tool. You've seen the search results. You've seen part activation. One of the things that's important to understand, guys, about differentiation and putting some clarity is images. We all know that taking pictures and labeling the pictures and installing the pictures is a time-consuming, kind of resource-intensive process. Okay, but I commit to you and I promise you, every minute you spend putting more pictures, additional pictures, real pictures in your listings of the parts will pay back serious dividends in many more transactions. So again, standing out from the crowd by installing your own pictures and making your pictures be the gallery shot as well as the first images on your listings can help you stand out from the crowd. You're probably going to see your product sell more often at a higher price, a slightly higher price, and start throwing in your own parameters like title and picture. You're going to shoot right off. You're going to shoot the moon every time. So again, it's worth the time and the energy spent putting images on your listing. If you want to take eBay to the next level, images is one of the biggest, fastest ways to go there. So let me show you real quick. If you have a particular item you want to put an image on, you obviously search for it, or maybe you've got a collection of things you want to put a logo on. So you click on the individual item. Let's say it's this Ford part, and I want to add an image. I can go to my upload image tool here. Just opens it right up. It will show you what's coming from the catalog first, and then you can browse in and you can pick the items out of your computer. You can actually install a URL link. So adding pictures, removing pictures is done through the upload image tool. And again, it's worth mentioning here that when you come to define rules, there's also a link to the image panel, image upload panel right here in the upper right corner. Now, the last piece that I want to show you, what you do have the ability to do is actually search for product, affect products within categories. So you can search for category and control that category. And here's what I mean by that. I just want to take you through this real quick. If I go in and I go to search by item type, if I want to look at just the categories within, let's say, belts, tensioners, and pulleys, okay? Well, there's only one there. Let's get a few more. Okay, so there's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items, right? So if I click on search now, I've highlighted those that I want, and I bring them up. See here now, instead of parts, I now have the category. So what I'm doing here, guys, and this is eBay inventory tool kind of 201 curriculum. What I can do now is set up rules for the category, and then those rules for the category will apply down to all the parts within that. But it's really from this point forward. So if you happen to have product that's in these categories that's already in the system, that's already activated with eBay or hidden away or inactive, it won't affect that. What it's going to do is actually set up rules for products that come in going forward. So if you tomorrow bring in a whole new line of engine cooling system testers, right? Well, you can set up rules. So from this point forward now, I can say, yes, anything that matches this category, activate it, let it go to eBay, give it a one-day handling time, give it whatever price adjustment or not you might need, put it as free shipping, give it a whatever, give it $12 for shipping, and make it, instead of UPS ground, we're going to go standard shipping, and yes, I want it in the global shipping program. Click on update selected, okay, and it's going to manipulate, see it's circling the drain, and so now it's making these items as pending active. So tomorrow when the inventory feed flushes through, these things will move to an active status, and then from this point forward, any product that hits this category that's new, that has not been here before, guess what? It picks up these rules and goes through. So this is a thing to do in terms of never having to do any ongoing housekeeping. That really concludes the training portion and the training element of the inventory tool here. Obviously there are a few other things that we can do, but this is the foundational controls that you have to really help you get your merchandise into the marketplace and control it. I want nothing more than to make eBay, this selling channel for your operation, matter. It has such huge potential. It can grow and be one of the biggest segments of your business if you let it. Let me show you some fun stuff that you might find beneficial. This is my personal seller ID on eBay, and I like to use it because it's got some stuff listed, it's got some traction, it's got lots of great stuff. And I want to take you over to eBay. Some best practices and some really cool things that you can take advantage of over on eBay. Now, one of the things that's important is your seller status, right? Your reputation on eBay. Your reputation on eBay matters, okay? And it's the same thing in the terrestrial world. If you have a poor experience at a restaurant in your local town, right? If you have a poor experience shopping at a clothing store or sporting goods or whatever it may be, like, your likelihood of going back is probably really not, you're not psyched about going back. You may be forced to go there. It's the same thing with eBay. If you create a positive buying experience and give the consumer a positive experience all the way through, you're going to dominate. And if you want to keep control over or take a look at what's happening with your seller dashboard, come right here into the seller dashboard and look at it. Open up the segments and you'll see exactly where you're doing really well, and you'll see exactly where you're falling short, what is causing defect that you can mitigate. They're all in your control. All the things that are part of your seller dashboard and your seller rating and performance on eBay are all in your control, and you can, it's probably the number one thing that you can do. Once you achieve top-rated seller status, guys, you'll see literally like a 30 to 40% increase in sales transactions. So you want to get there and you want to maintain it. If you look here at the upper left corner of the screen here, you'll see the account tab, okay? And what I want to do is encourage you to, at some point in the very near future, this afternoon, tomorrow, sometime early next week, maybe over the weekend if you're poking around on eBay doing some shopping, log in and take a look at the menu items that are here. I want you to go in and take a look at the communication preferences, okay? And that's the way eBay communicates with you. eBay communicates with you. And then site preferences are also some key parameters for kind of automation of some things. You want to be careful what you manipulate. If you're not quite sure about something, reach out to the Motors Programs team and get some clarity before you make a major adjustment. In site preferences, guys, in site preferences is the global shipping opt-in, okay? If you want to participate in global shipping, you got to go in there and you got to turn it on. Manage communication with buyers, right? If you want to proactively communicate with buyers in form letters, you can. Go in there and poke around. You'll see what I mean. You can actually create your own custom message that goes into eBay's message that goes out to consumers. eBay sends a confirmation message with every successful transaction. You as the seller have the opportunity to put a message in there, an announcement. Hey, thank you. Here's what you bought. Here's my return policy. Here's how you can reach me, or where else you can buy from us if you want to put some cross-reference. Okay? Fantastic way to distract buyers from going to eBay or PayPal for help. get them, communicate with them, and get them to come to you. Your seller dashboard is just what I was talking about before in terms of your performance. Here's your feedback page, the resolution center. Okay, if you're struggling, you might get an email from eBay that says, you know, a buyer's put in a support request, or not a support request, but a dispute. You know, they want their money back. They want to return the item and they want their money back. All of it's going to be pushed in here to the resolution center where you can see it, you can communicate with the buyer, you can communicate, and you want to react quickly when stuff goes in there. You don't want it to languish. You want to deal with it, you want to mitigate it, you want to get on with it. Manage my store. Marketing tools and subscriptions are things that you can poke around with. Guys, the store, you got to remember, the store is a fantastic way to brand and market your operation on eBay. Now, the next thing I want to show you, which is also kind of cool, is down here. I'm scrolling down a bit to the seller tools box. On your My eBay page, you should see this seller toolbox. And one of the things I want you to explore and try is this manage promotions. If you poke around on eBay, you'll begin to see and recognize listings or sellers that are putting this like 5%, you know, spend $200, get 5% back, buy 3 or more parts, get $5 off, you know, store-wide 5% off sale, whatever it may be. Guys, these are very passive, proactive ways, passive, you know, that you can put out on eBay that works for you, and then very proactive ways to entice consumers to buy more product from you, right, or spend more money, you know. And you can itemize things based on category, segment. You can put it on the whole store. It's working. For those sellers that do this, they're seeing a dramatic uptick in, they're going from like individual transactions to like 3 parts per transaction. So they're seeing an uptick, and it's very proactive things that you can do that entice consumers to buy more product from you along the way. The cool thing about promotions also is that when you create a promotion and someone looks at a listing and then they go into the whole promotion, there's a vehicle lookup right there. There's a part finder built in there, so they can also see, hey, if you're saying, look, buy 3 products and I'll give you 5% off, well, they can actually see what's part of it, and they can see what other parts you have that fit their vehicle. That concludes the material that I wanted to share with you today. I want to encourage you to take the next step, okay? Hopefully you gain some new perspective. You sort of have some levels of confidence and understanding of the things that you can do within the tool, things that you can do to differentiate your listings on eBay, and just giving you a whole new perspective of the fact that you should just take everything you have available that's worthy for eBay and get it out there. You're in control. Get it on eBay and make it work for you. Maximize your opportunity by getting all your inventory on eBay. If you have some PartsVoice related questions and things that you'd like to do with your inventory, with the tool, with other things, reach out to the PartsVoice folks with the email and phone number that you see here.